Hi, everyone. Eric Noonan from CyberSheath's Services International. We're here for our coffee break session. And today I'm here with Carl Herberger, our Vice President of Security Services, and we're going to talk about CyberSheath's CMMC shared responsibility model. And, what is it? And Carl, how do you get compliant without it? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, Eric, this is something I'm super excited about. I think, I've been here for just about a quarter or so in the business. And something that I really find powerful that you and the company have developed is this notion that the IT security compliance model for an outsourcer needs to be shared, right? We know that you can outsource many things as a company, but you can't outsource per se the responsibility that you have as a company to being compliant. So how does that work? Well, one of the things that I think that's really been innovative about what has been done with the CMMC managed services at CyberSheath is this notion that we have a very clear and crisp way of being able to confine the conversation to both the technical aspects that involve the impacts on nearly every function with your organization, as well as the regulatory aspects and how they weave together. And when you're having a partner in this space, how you actually manage that set of responsibilities. Sometimes it means that the outsourcer does the work, and that's in that model. Sometimes that means that the outsourcer can't do the work, as you know, Eric, and you talk about it all the time. A great example would be this requirement that you have to have guests, visitors to your organization escorted. Obviously, an outsourcer is not going to be able to do something like that, but they can help you define the process, audit the process, make sure the process is being followed. And this is a great example of how each aspect of a compliant organization in a openly outsourced compliance managed service works. How do you do it without it, Eric?
Yeah, I don't know, Carl. I mean, I really don't. I don't think you can, because I think, we've both been in this industry for a long time and seen the different MSP, MSSP models, and a lot of times it's just a technology stack, maybe hopefully married to some SLAs. All those SLAs, service level objectives, or SLOs or SLAs, are all married to technical performance, outages. They're never married to compliance. And CMMC ultimately is about compliance. So, you started off and you talked about having the technology piece, the process piece. MSSPs, in my experience, they don't want the compliance piece, and they certainly aren't going to put it in their contract. I mean, I don't know what you've seen, but I've never seen an MSSP take that mission on.
Yeah, that's right. This is also where you should be lauded. I think in our organization should be lauded, and I'm really happy to introduce to the world this idea of the shared security compliance model. So it's integrating that technical aspect that you talk about, the process and procedural aspect that you talk about. Of course, things like outages, and there's some legal apparat, but it's really, you can't have that without the real world. That is, how do I comply with the regulatory aspects of my industry or my customer? And with CMMC, and I think we can all agree that CMMC is really a very serious shift in the way that that companies need to address this, because it affects their revenue very quickly.
Yeah, very, very different from most other frameworks or even regulatory compliance. Be it HIPAA, high tech, you pick one. Not as direct an impact on revenue. With what the Department of Defense is doing with CMMC, it is, you will not have any revenue through this particular customer if you don't get compliant. And so, where I think that leaves a lot of customers is at this horrible crossroads of, I have an MSSP, but they're only doing technical stuff. Have internal IT, and if I'm a small company, they're probably doing security by exception and spending most of their time on availability and IT and keeping the lights on from an IT perspective. And then I have this policy gap of, okay, DFAR 7012, NIST 800-171, CMMC 1.02, how can I possibly ingest all this? And oh, by the way, put it together in the next few months, because if you don't get certified, notionally next year, you won't be able to do business. So the reason we came up with this shared responsibility model, it's the solution to the problem. It wasn't even so much that, hey, here's a great opportunity in the market. It's, you can't get there without this unless you're a massive company and you've got a compliance resource, you've got internal audit, you've got a technical team, you've got a dedicated security team. If you've got all those resources, great. You probably, it's actually still a shared responsibility model internally in a big organization. And you use the example all the time, of having a CPA, right, or doing your taxes, right, and that you look at that, and that's a shared responsibility, right? They're going to do the work, they're going to prepare the returns, but at the end of the day, they're relying on the information you give them. And so this isn't a model that I think is completely foreign, right? We use this in many parts of our lives today.
Yeah, that's really a great point. I, having been a former business owner and so forth, I really, really hate when I have to have many different pieces and I have to build my own meal. I'm just kind of a person that wants somebody to solve, like you said, solve my problem, solve my technical problem, solve my IT problem, solve my security problem, and please solve my compliance problem. This is what I really love about the shared security model, is that it allows you to really have a single throat to choke, just like you said. You're either your doctor, your general practitioner, or your accountant. I don't expect my accountant to tell me that he doesn't know how to do math, or he doesn't understand he doesn't know how to do regulations in certain domiciles. That means that I need a new accountant. It doesn't mean that I go find somebody that knows how to do that little piece, right? Today, this is the comeuppance of this new world of expecting more from your provider, expecting your provider to, and for you not to be shirking your responsibilities in compliance, in technical know-how, or in security. So I allow.
And it's a great opportunity really to get tangible requirements in your contracts with your MSSP around compliance, something with teeth. You might have had SLOs, you might have had SLAs, but now you've got some compliance teeth you can put in your contract and actually better manage your vendors to outcomes that are directly related to your business. You have to do this. And so why not make your provider accountable for that and make them really part of your team? So we think it's the only way to do it, if you're a company of a certain size, and it's actually a great opportunity for companies to really push their vendors to do more and do better and do what they need done for their business. And so
it's a great point, right? When I read contracts these days, maybe because I don't have so much hair in my head any longer, I've had the ability to read a lot of them. And what I'm looking for are those shadows and those gray areas mostly, right? What is not being said, what is being glossed over, what is not having a spotlight on it, where is it gray, where is it shadowy? And that's not normally in the customer's best interest, right? Not to have it defined. That normally means that it's in the provider's best interest. So I think that the shared security model is one of those areas where there is a beautiful, transparent, very clear, very bright way of being able to describe how the service is going to be rendered.
Yeah, and so if you want to learn more about CyberSheath's CMMC shared responsibility model, please go out to cybersheath.com, check out our blog. It's pretty detailed, beefy blog on what that process is. But even better, fill out a contact us. We'd love to talk to you about how it works in your environment so that we can give you a real world example of what good looks like. And so thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this coffee talk. Carl, thanks for carving out the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eric. Take care now.
You too.